In this video, we will talk about props, a very important concept in React which we use to pass information between components and the related concept of lifting the state. So let us begin with props. So what are props? Props are used to pass information between components. So if we want to pass information to a component, we use props. The word props is like a short form for properties. It stands for properties. And how do we pass props? We pass props to any component just as we declare attributes for any HTML tag. So here child comp is a component and we are passing the property. The name of the property is prop1 and its value is hello. Props can be accessed inside from the components class to which the props is passed. So how do we access it? We would just say this dot props dot prop1. So if the name of the prop was prop1, this is how we can access it. And there is no limit to the number of props we can pass. We can pass multiple props and the values can be of different types, including like we are showing strings or objects. A very important aspect of props are that props are read only. So what that means is that a component cannot change its props. So we have studied a concept of state in the previous lesson and here are props. So what is the difference between the two? As we know, state is used by a component to maintain its local data. So state is private to a component and can only be accessed by it. So suppose between two components we want to share some information. So the state is private, so we cannot use it. Props are used and props are passed by a parent to a child component. So that is what its purpose is. And we know that state can be modified, whereas props are read only. So the purpose of props is to pass that information from a parent to a child component and they are read only. So let us look at an example and try and understand these concepts better. So in this example, counting machine, we will create two components, counting machine and counters. And we would use props to pass information from counting machine to counters and display them. So here we have defined two components. So the first one is counting machine and the other one is a component called counter. So these are the two components we want to use. Counting machine in its state has this array counters and what we want to do is that for each element of this array, which is a JSON, we want to create a counter and display a counter using this component named counter. So how would we do that? So first thing, let's go to our index.js and what do we want to render? We want to render counting machine. So let's import that. And set our port here. Once we have done that, let's just come to counting machine. And here is where we would want to render one counter for each element of this array. So first thing, let me import counter. So import counter from counter. Now that we have imported counter, in the render, I can just say, let me just const counters is equal to this dot state, and in the return I can just create a react dot fragment, and within the fragment I will just use a map counters dot map c1, which is a counter, goes to, and I will just display this component counter. So this is all that I intend to do. Let's go to our counter. In this, let us just render h5 counter. So what should we get rendered? We should get four counters because there were 4 elements in this array rendered. Let's go ahead and check it. So I get 4 counters rendered. So we have now rendered these components. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. So let me start passing props. So let me just pass this alphabet first. So I can just say alphabet. I can give it any name to the prop. And what should its value be? C1 dot alphabet. I can also pass count. So I can just say count is equal to C1 dot count. So these two are being passed as props. So alphabet and count here are props, which that parent component. So which is the parent component? Counting machine is passing to the child component, and which is the child component? Counter. So let us go to the child component, and the first thing let's do is let us put a console.log props comma this dot props. So that is how we can access props, this dot props. So let's just print them. So now as you can see, I am getting these props A count 1. Let's check it. So A1, B2, C0, D0. So we are getting these 4 props here in the counters. Let's use them in the display. So here I can say counter, and I can display the alphabet and the value. So I can also use object destructuring. So I can just say const alphabet comma count is equal to this dot props. And here let's display the alphabet, and with it we can say count is equal to count. Let's go ahead and test it. So we get counter A, count is equal to 1, and whatever we wanted to show. So this is how we passed props here. Let us look at another property of props. So here before it, if I want to say this dot props dot count is equal to say 10. I wanted to make the change. I wanted to change the value of a prop. Let's see, what do I get? I get an error. Cannot assign to read only property count of object here. So here is where we are getting this error. Cannot assign property. So the props are read only. I cannot change their properties like this. So let me delete this line. Now what is the next thing we wanted to do? We wanted to show a button to increment it. So let me just put in a button. So button btn primary btn say sm. Let me put an on click is equal to this dot handle increment. That's the handler. And what do we want to show here? Increment. So we get this button. Let's implement the handler. Handle increment is equal to. Now what should we do in handle increment? Our objective is that this count should be increased. Now how would we handle it? So the easiest way to do it is in our state, let's create a value say count, or let me call it anything, but I can also call it count, but let me just call it say value, and give it the value this dot props dot count. So the only reason I'm calling it value is so that we distinguish from this count. Now in our handle increment, we can use our standard process, make a copy of the state, s1 dot value plus plus and this dot set state s1. So what would this lead to? This would lead to the value of the state getting updated or value getting updated here. So here, while displaying it, what can we say? Instead of count, I can just call it as this dot state dot value. So if I display that, that should be fine. If I display count, obviously that is not getting changed. Let's go ahead and test it. So we have increment, and we can see this is working perfectly fine. So we have implemented it. So all the components that were there, we were able to display it here. Now we can keep on adding logic here. So we can also put a logic here to say that if the count is 0, do not display it, or any such logic that we want to show here. The other thing we could have done, that instead of passing all these fields as individual, we could have just passed the whole counter. So I could have just said counter is equal to C1. So here this whole object, this whole JSON object is being passed as a prop, and then instead of, we could have just said counter is equal to this dot props, and this would have been counter dot alphabet. Similarly, here in this dot props, this should be this dot props dot counter dot count, because we're getting the object. This should work. Let's test it out. So even with that object, we could do it. So we saw that we can pass either a single value or a JSON object or anything as a prop. So this is a prop that we passed from a parent component, which was counting machine, to a child component, which was counter. Another thing that we use extensively in our development is React developer tools. So you can go and install them into your Chrome browser. So just go and search for React developer tools and install them into your Chrome. So what's the purpose of React developer tools? So React developer tools is a extension library for the React JavaScript library, and it is used to inspect the React component hierarchies in the Chrome developer tools. So the components tab in the React developer tools would show the React components and sub-components that were rendered on the page. So this makes it easier for us to understand the React page and also debug it. So here we were seeing our components and we incremented them and everything. Now I have installed React development tools and I can go here and go to components. So now once I went to components, you can see counting machine. So this was our parent component. So we're getting one counting machine and we are getting the counters. And see, when I am on this, I click on it, the corresponding rendering effect of it can be seen on the page. If I look at counting machine, I can see its state. So I can see the state and other aspects of it. Similarly, for a counter, I can see its props. So this was passed as props. I can see its state. Let's increment. So you can see the state is changing here. So that's what we can see. For the next component, we can see it, and so on. So this is React developer tools. It's really useful for development. So whenever you're using it, you should definitely get familiar with it, install it, and get very familiar with it and start using it. So far we have seen how to pass values as props. We can also pass functions as props. So let us see how to do that. So like values, functions can also be passed by a parent to a child component in props. The child component can call the function of the parent. So the parent has defined a function and passed it as props. So the Child component can call the function of the parent using the props, and the child component can also pass parameters to the function passed to it using props. So let's extend our example of counting machine and implement a delete a counter with the counting machine passing a function to delete the counter as a prop. So what do we want to show here? That along with increment, we want a delete button, and when that delete button is clicked, this counter gets deleted. So because this counter is getting implemented using the counting machine, so if I go back to our counting machine, in this we had these 4 counters here. So when we want to delete it, we would have to remove it from the state here. So because the state is local to this counting machine, what we will do is we will create a function, say call it say handle delete, and we will use that to delete this counter. So while deleting this counter, we need some reference. So let's say we get the ID, and we want to delete the counter with this ID. So we will use the same steps that we use for updating the state. Let s1 is equal to this dot state, s1 dot find index. It should be s1 dot counters dot find index, counter c1 such that c1 dot id is equal to id. So we have found this counter with this index. So let's call it index, and let us use splice to delete it. So s1 dot counters dot splice index comma 1, and we can just use the set state to update the state. So this dot set state s1. So we have created this function handle delete, and we would pass this as a parameter. So let's say on delete is equal to this dot handle delete. So we have passed this function as a props to counter. So let us go to our counter. Now just like we had this button for increment, let me copy it and create another button for delete. Let's call it delete. And I will just add a little bit of margin so that it looks better. Now we need the on click. So how do we handle the on click? So on click here we can say, instead of this dot handle increment, we can just in our props we get our on delete also. So we can call on delete, and we want to pass the ID, so we can just say counter dot ID. So we have passed the ID. Let's look at it and test it. So we're getting our delete, and if I go to our counter, we are also getting a function say called on delete. Now if I increment it, we can see that those values are changing. Now let me delete this counter, and let us go to our counting machine. This is the state we have. Once I click on delete, you can see the state of the counters got updated because that function got called and this counter got deleted. And now if I keep on incrementing this counter, I can increment it. So what did we do here? We passed this function as a prop. So on delete was a function that the parent component counting machine passed to counter, and we used that to delete it. Why did we use that function to delete it? Because the counters are being rendered from here using this state. So we needed to update the state of the parent, the counting machine. which is why we use the function of the parent to do that. So props can also pass functions, and this was a good example to use it. Let's extend our counting machine and let us implement a functionality, reset counters. So what we would do is, in our main component, we'll create a button reset, and with that we would reset all the counters. And let us see whether that works properly or not. So here in our counting machine, we would just add a button. So let's just go and put a button in. So button btn, and on click, let's say this dot handle reset, and let's say we call this button as reset all. So let's define this function. Handle reset is equal to, so what is the purpose of reset? That all these counts here should be set to 0. So let's use a standard approach. Let S1 is equal to, we'll make a copy of the state. Next, let's use map to create a new array with the counts as 0. So we can say S1 dot counters dot map. So C1 here goes to, because we want to create a JSON, we'll put these brackets, and ID is C1 dot ID. Alphabet is C1 dot alphabet, and count is 0. That's the change we wanted. And let's assign it to, say, const arr1. Let's update the counters in S1. S1 dot counters is equal to arr1, and this dot set state S1. So we have now updated the state. So let's go ahead and test it. So here we have our counting machine, and let's look at the state. So this is fine. Let's increment all the values. Now when I click on reset all, we can see that the state has been updated. So in the counting machine, the counts have all become 0, which is what we intended. But if we look at the display, we don't see that happening. The count is 1, the count is 2. So that update did not happen at our counters. So why was this? If we go back to our code, if we look at our counter, in the counter, in the state, we have created this value. So this value is local to the state, and hence when we changed the counting machine, the values here in this state, they did not get reflected in the counter. So to handle this problem, we have a concept called lifting the state, and let's look at that. So what is this concept, lifting the state up? It is an approach where the state is shared between different components. So in this example that we were discussing, the value of the count is shared between the counter and the counting machine. So in such a scenario where the value of the state is shared between different components, the common approach is to move the state to the common parent of the two components. So the common parent of the two components here in this case, the counting machine is the parent. So we should move that to the state of the common parent or to the state of the counting machine, and the state is shared via props to the child components. So that should be shared to the counter. With shared state, changes in state reflect in relevant components simultaneously, and there is a single source of truth for shared state components. So if we go back to our code, so what we are saying, that instead of the state being defined here, I will delete this state, and this state should be now maintained in our counting machine. So what that means is that we have a single state, single source of truth, and the state of this counter has been lifted up to the counting machine. So if we do that, then we have a problem. What is the problem? How do we handle the increment? So what we would do here in this case is to handle the increment, we will pass another props. So let me call it, say, on increment is equal to this dot handle increment. So why are we doing this? So that now the handle increment would be to update the count here in these, in the state of the counting machine. So instead of doing it in counter, we will now do it in the counting machine. So let's define a function here, handle increment. Let's say it will get the ID of the counter it wants to increment, and this should be very similar to our handle delete. So let me just copy that. So here, instead of finding the index, we will just find the counter. Let counter is equal to s1 dot find. So we will just use find, and then we can just say counter dot count plus plus. So we have incremented the count. So this is our handle increment that we are now passing in the props as on increment. If we go to our counter, here let's destructure the on increment, and let's delete the handle increment. We don't need that handler here, and instead of calling this dot handle increment, we will call on increment and pass it the counter dot id. The other thing we should do is, because we were using this dot state, so instead of using this dot state, we should just say counter dot count. And because we are using counter so many times, so let's destructure the counter also. Alphabet comma count comma id is equal to counter, so that it becomes easier to read. So we have now said that whenever we want to increment, we will call the increment function that was passed as props with the id, and the same thing in delete. So here, as we can see, we have our counting machine. So let's first test increment. So if I increment a, you can see that the state of the counting machine and the count is now getting updated, and that is getting reflected here. If I do it for C and D, you will see the same changes here. Now if I reset all, you can see that they become 0, and that is getting reflected here. So why is it getting reflected here? Because now we have a single source of truth to which we have mapped all of them, and there is no independent state in the counter. We have lifted the state up from the counter to its parent, the counting machine. So once we have lifted the state up and we are getting all of it in our counting machine, let's also try and show the alphabets that we have encountered. So in our state, let's create a string data. And what do? Whenever we get an increment, let's update data. So we can just say s1 dot data plus equal to counter dot alphabet. So we will keep on adding that alphabet, and we can just display it here after the button h6 alphabets equal to, let's destructure data also. So this should work for us. So we have alphabets. So if I now keep on incrementing it, we get it. And let's just put the count to 0 now, because that will make it better to read. So we are seeing the alphabets we have received. When we reset all, they become 0. We should have also reset the alphabets in reset all. Let's do that. So when we say reset all, we should also say s1 dot data is an empty string. Let's test it. So increment. This is working fine. If we reset all, this also works fine. So here we have seen two concepts. We did props, and then we saw how we lift the state up between the child component to the parent component as we required in this case. So these are extremely important concepts, and the next couple of exercises will demonstrate them in greater detail. So let's look at the exercise. Photographs are displayed with like and dislike buttons below them. Also shown is the count of likes and dislikes. If the user likes or dislikes a photo, it has a different background. The user can click any of the buttons and the user's choice and the counts will be suitably updated. Use two components, photos page and photo comp. So if you look at the screenshot, this is what we want to implement. So these are the photographs that we have displayed. Below that, we have shown the like and the dislike buttons. And when we click on them, the count should get updated. So here, this photograph has neither been liked or disliked. You can only do one of them. This one has been liked. So you can see the difference in the icons. And let's look for a dislike photograph. So this photograph has been disliked. So this is what we need to implement. And as it says, we need to implement it using two components. So one is the photos page, which is this whole main component. And then we have the photo comp, which is one single photo. So for the purpose, the data that we are showing or the photographs that we are showing, so we have used this picsum.photos, and these are certain IDs. You can pick any photo, and these are the sizes we are using. So as you can see, we are using a set of photographs. So you can use similar URLs for constructing your whole data set. So here we have our component photo page, so which is our parent component, and in the state it has a list of photographs. It's an array of photographs, and each photograph is a JSON with the image, the like, dislike count, and the option, which is the user's option. So the user's option can either be dislike, like, or nothing has been done, which is an empty string. So those are the three options here. We also have this component photo comp, which we will create to render each photograph. So that's the child component. And in our index.js, we have made the change so that we have imported photo page and we are rendering the photo page component. We will also make a change to our index.html. So index.html is in our public folder. So here this is the index.html. And because we want to show those icons, so we are using font awesome icons for that. And for that, you will need to add this to your index.html. So once we have done that, let's start our code. So I'll close this index.html. And what we will create is our photo component. So in the photo component, assuming that we are getting this JSON, what we will do is just render it. So the way we could render it is that we have put it in a row, and in a row we are creating, say, columns of size 4, because we are showing three components in three photos in a row. So let's start doing it. So I can say div class name is equal to column 4, and let's say there is a border. Now within that we would just want to show the image, so we are getting that through props. So let's just destructure it. So let's say const, let's call it say photo is this dot props dot photo. So what do we need to display here? We will just say image source is equal to photo dot, let's check out the structure of it. So we have image, like, dislike, and my option. Photo dot img. So we are displaying the photo, and below that let's just display the count of the like. So I'll just put say a br and display the like and dislike count. So like would be photo dot like and photo dot dislike. So because we want to use all of these, let me destructure them also. So let me say image, like, dislike, my option is equal to photo. So this becomes image, this becomes like, and this becomes dislike. So we have displayed all of that here. So this should give us a basic rendering of the photo component, which we will keep on improving. Let's go to our photo page, and there in the render, what do we want to do? We just want to render all these photos. So we can just put it here. So div say class name is equal to container, div class name is equal to row, and within this row what we would do is just call a map. So I can const, what's the name of it, photos is equal to this dot state. This dot, I don't want to say this, I will just say photos dot map. Say let's say a photo p1 goes to, what will it show? It will just show the component photo component, and it will pass photo is equal to p1. Now this should work perfectly fine for us. Let's go ahead and test it. Cannot destructure property image of photo as it is undefined. So in our photo class we are getting it. So why is this giving an error? Because this should have been this dot props instead of this dot props dot photo. Let's go ahead and test it. And what we can see is that we are getting a proper input. The output is proper. We're getting the likes and dislike counts. So that's starting to function properly. Let's go ahead and start improving it. So the first thing we want to improve is let's display the likes and the dislikes properly. So for that we will put them into a icon. So let's just say icon class name is equal to, let's say fa thumbs up. That's what we are using for like, and within that let's just display our like, and same thing let's do to our dislike. Let me copy this. And this is a thumbs down. Let's test it. So we get our thumbs up and our thumbs down. we want to now link it to my option. So my option would tell us whether we have chosen a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So depending upon that, we want to show the class name. So we can say here class name is equal to my option is equal to like. So if I have chosen like, I will show a thumbs up. Otherwise, I will show a FA thumbs up, which means a thumbs up without non-filled one. So non-solid one. So that's what it means. So now if I test it, we'll see the difference. So the ones that I have thumbs up, so this one I have liked, so it's showing me this icon, which is the solid icon, and for the others I am getting the empty icon. Same change, let's make it for our dislike. So let me just copy the class name and replace it with the thumbs down. Let's also align it, say, with the text center. So this is starting to look much better now. There seems to be an issue here because we are getting both thumbs up and thumbs down here. Why was that an issue? Because in the second case, it should be dislike. So this is the problem when we copy code, but now this seems to be fine. What we also want to show is a background color depending upon the option chosen. So let's put it as plus this dot bg color. So we need to show the bg color, and for the bg color we will just pass this value my option. So let us define this function bg color. So let's say bg color is equal to, it takes say a parameter, and what should it return? Now if param is equal to like, we want the background color to be bg success. If param is equal to dislike, we want the background color to be say bg alert. Otherwise we want the background color to be say bg light. So this is another way of using ternary, where in the else we have just put another ternary. So here we have just put in another ternary here. So we should get this background color here. Let's test it out. So here you can see in the options which had the background color green, so which have been thumbs up, the options that we have liked, we can see that. And in the others, in this case we should have gotten a bg alert, or let's call it say bg warning is what I wanted. Let's test that, and we have gotten a bg warning. So we have gotten our colors here. Next, what do we want to do? That when the user clicks on one of these, we should be able to handle these clicks. So we should put a function here. So I can say class name is equal to this, and on click is equal to, and we would put say get two functions on like and let's say on dislike. So let's say we get two functions passed as parameters. So here we can call calls on like, and what is the parameter it passes? It can pass the photo, or the it needs an ID, or it can pass even the index or something. So what should we pass as a parameter? So let's go back to our photo page. So at a photo page level, suppose we did not have an ID, then we should also pass here, let's say index is equal to, let's call it say index. So let's pass p1 comma index. Let's go back to photo component. So we are also getting an index here. So we're getting the index of the image. So let's pass index. Similarly, in the dislike case, if the dislike button is clicked, we will pass on dislike index. So now we need to implement these functions in our photo page and pass them. So let's first pass them. On like is equal to this dot handle like, and on dislike is equal to this dot handle dislike. So these functions we are implementing in the main component, which is photo page. So let us define the handle like first. So handle like is equal to, it gets the index. And let's follow our standard practice. First, let's make a copy of the state, this dot state. Next, let's get the photo we want to deal with. So let photo is equal to s1 dot photos with the index. So this is the photo we are dealing with. So let's destructure photo. So I can say let like dislike and my option is equal to photo. Let's say if my option is equal to like. So if my option was like, then what should happen? Then two things I need to do. I need to do like minus minus, and my option should become an empty string. So I'm saying I liked this photo and I no longer like it. Else if my option is equal to dislike. So if my option was dislike, then what do I need to do? My like would increase by plus plus, my dislike would reduce. I'm not disliking that photo anymore, and my option will be equal to like. Else if I had neither liked or disliked it, then my like goes plus plus and my option becomes equal to like. So these are our three cases, that my option could have been like, my option could have been dislike, or my option could have been nothing. So once we have done it, we need to update our photo. Why do we need to update our photo? Because these values will not get automatically updated in photo. Photo dot like is equal to like, photo dot dislike is equal to dislike, and photo dot my option is equal to my option. So this is one way we could have done it. The other way could have been, we could have created a JSON. Now that this JSON is updated, we can just set our state. So I can just say this dot set state s1. So let's go ahead and test it if this is gonna work. So let's click on like here. So if I like here, I get 24, 23. So this is working perfectly fine here. Let's look at here. So if I click on it, it should become 18. Yes, perfect. Let's look at this photograph. So my dislikes should reduce to 36, which is exactly what is happening here. Let's now implement the second part, which is handle dislike. So handle dislike is very similar. So let me just make a copy. So this is handle dislike. Now in handle dislike, if my option was dislike, then my dislikes would become minus minus. If my option was like, then my likes would reduce, my dislikes would increase, and my option will become a dislike. And if it was nothing, then my dislikes would increase and my option will become dislike. So this should work perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and test it. So let me click dislike here. So it's 3. This is working fine. If I click on dislike again, this seems to be perfectly fine. And if we check out our photos page and our state, we would see those changes in our state. So let's say if our photo was 1, so if I click like, you can see that change here. If I click dislike, we can see that change. So here we have been able to create this app. And if we just recap it, so we had this main component photo page in which we are maintaining all the state, and we were using our photo component to render it. Now as you can see, this rendering of the photo component can start becoming more and more rich and complicated as we keep on. So that's the advantage we have using these components. Second, this component would start becoming more and more reusable. So it can be used in multiple places, which is the advantage of structuring it as a photo page and a photo component. Let us look at the next exercise. In a visitor system, max of 2 visitors are allowed inside. The status of a visitor can be inside, waiting, or outside. So there are 3 possible status of a visitor. If the status is outside, click a button to enter. If there is a vacancy inside, the visitor can enter, otherwise is added to queue. And vacancy is defined by there are a maximum of 2 visitors. If the visitor is inside, the visitor can click a button to exit. If there is a queue, the next visitor is allowed inside. Use 2 components, visitor, system, and visitor. So this is how the app should look like. So these are all our visitors. So either their status is waiting, outside, or inside. If it is outside, they should get this option for enter. If they are inside, they get this option for exit. If they are waiting, no option is shown. And all those in waiting, in the order they were added in the queue, are shown in the queue. So this is what we need to implement. So here we have the 2 components, visitor system, which has in the state the array of visitors, and each visitor has an ID, a name, and a status. And initially all the status are outside. And the other component we have is visitor. And then in our index.js, we are rendering the visitor system. So what do we want to do here? The first thing we want to do is let's render all of them as a table. So I can, in my render, const visitors is equal to this dot state, and let's render it. So I'll just put them inside a container and render them. And because we are rendering them as a table, so each visitor would be rendered as a table. So let's just pass it visitors dot map. Let's say v1 goes to visitor is equal to v1. So this is what we are rendering. Let's go to our visitor. So in our visitor, we are getting this props visitor. So let's just destructure it. Const visitor is equal to this dot props. Let's destructure visitor. So what all fields does it have? ID, name and status. Const ID, name, status is equal to visitor. Let's put it in a row. So div class name is equal to row. Let's put say a border. Let's put say some margin. And within that, we just want to show these three things and the button. So let's just display them. So div class name is equal to column 3. And what do we want to display? ID. Let me copy this. Next, we want to show the name. Next, we want to show the status. And then we want to show the button. So the button would vary depending upon the status. So let us here call a function this dot get button, and let us just pass the status to it. So depending upon the status, we will show the button. So let's define this function. Get button is equal to, it gets the status and it will return the JSX for the button. So if status, or we can just use standard ternary, status equal to an outside, what do we want to show? We want to show a button. And what should that button have? So let's say class name is equal to btn entry. So let's call it say some success btn sm, and this button would have the text as say enter. Otherwise, what do we need to show? Status is equal to inside. Then what do we need to show? We need to show a similar button with, so let's call it say exit. Otherwise, we don't want to show anything. So this is the structure of the code we want, and we can remove these from here and this should be fine. So we have gotten our button and we can show our button here. So this should render the first level. So let's test it out. So we can see the first level rendering is starting to work. Next, what do we want to do? Let's implement these functions. So let's just put in an on click. So in this case, what will be the on click? The on click would be, we will use props. So in our props, let's get our props going. So let's pass status comma on enter and on exit. So these are our two options that we need. So we will destructure them here. So these are the functions which will be passed by the parent component, that when the enter button is clicked, what to do, when the exit button is clicked, what to do. And let's just pass them as parameters here. On enter, on exit. We would also need the ID. So let's just pass the ID also. Now on click, is equal to this, no, on enter, and what is the parameter we want to pass? ID. Similarly, on exit, what should we do? On click is equal to on exit, and we provide the ID so that we can handle it. So these are our functions. Now these functions need to be passed as props. So let's go back to our props. So in our props, let's add on enter is equal to this dot handle enter, and on exit is equal to this dot handle exit. So let's go ahead and define these functions. So I can say handle enter is equal to, it gets the ID, and what can we do? We need to update the state from outside to inside. So first, we are not putting that constraint of 2 persons inside. We will go ahead and build that later. Let's just do a simple case when we just change the status to inside. So let's do our standard. Let s1 is equal to this dot state. We need to find the visitor, so let visitor is equal to s1 dot visitors dot find v1 such that v1 dot id is equal to id. So we have found the visitor. Once we have found the visitor, I can just say visitor dot status is equal to inside, and we can update the state. So this dot set state s1. Similarly, we can do a handle exit. It will be very similar here. Handle exit, and the status would become outside. Let's go ahead and test this part of it. So we have enter. Now if I click on enter, it becomes exit, exit. If I click on them, they become different. So good, this part is working. Now let's go ahead and in our visitor also implement the color that we want to show of the row depending upon whether it's inside, outside, or waiting or in queue. So let's say get row color is equal to, depending upon the status we want to show it. So status is equal to outside, then let's say it is bg dark, otherwise status is equal to inside, it is, let's say, bg secondary, and otherwise it is a bg light. So we have gotten the color. Let's add it here. So remember to put a space here because it will get concatenated as a string. So otherwise this M1, the margin we have given, would get concatenated and it will not work. So always take care of this. So get row color, and we pass it the status. So this is giving us an error. Expected an assignment line 17. So I don't need. So let's go ahead and test it. So let's make it also text white. So now if I enter, we can see the colors have changed. Let's change the color of these buttons also. So the button for exit is, let's say, BG warning. So I can enter, you can see the button color has changed and I can exit. So this part seems to be working fairly fine. Now what do we need to implement? We need to implement our queue. So let's go back to the visitor system. So if we need to implement a queue, let's add it to the state. So queue is an initially empty, so it's an empty array. Now what do we need to do when I am entering? So when this visitor is entering, I need to check the queue status. And I need to check the number of visitors inside. So let's define a function get inside count. So it counts the number of people who are inside. So what will this do? It should say this dot state dot visitors dot reduce. Now what should we count? Accumulator comma current goes to, it returns accumulated plus cur dot status is equal to inside, then 1 else 0. So what are we doing here? We are saying if the current dot status, if the status of the current JSON is inside, it should get 1 should get added to the accumulator, otherwise 0 gets added to the accumulator. And we run this, the initial value of this is 0. So we would get the inside count. So let's use it. So in our handle enter, let's get let inside count is equal to this dot get inside count. So we have gotten the inside count. We can say if inside count is equal to 2. If it is equal to 2, then what do we need to do? We need to put the visitor or dot status as waiting. And what's the other thing we need to do? We need to queue dot push, let's say visitor dot id. We can push the whole JSON object also. So if we want to do that, we could do that. So let's just push the whole JSON object into the queue, and it should not be queue, it should be s1 dot queue. So we have pushed this. Else, if the number of visitors were less than 2, then it is inside. So we have updated the state. Similarly, in handle exit, what should we check? We should check whether the queue is empty. If the queue is not empty, then the first person should enter. So here we should say if s1 dot queue dot length greater than 0. So if the length is greater than 0, then what should we do? s1 dot queue dot shift and that is the visitor we have shifted out. So let's just say let v1 is equal to, so we have moved this person out of the queue, and what do we want to set? v1 dot status equal to inside. So this person will now move inside, and we have removed that person from the queue. So let's go ahead and test it now. So enter, this guy has entered, Mary has entered. Now let's try and enter Steve. and we can see that Steve has also entered. Steve should not have entered, so let's go ahead and try and debug it. Let's say if current dot status is inside, let's just text our object here. So we are getting 3 insides here. So some problem in our, let's say, count. Let's check. Should it be status? Yes, current dot status is equal to inside. Then we are doing 1, accumulator plus 1. They should have been fine. If inside dot count is 2, we should have gotten 2. So let us just do a console.log here. Console.log inside count comma inside count. Let me see if this is the issue. Let's test it again. Enter, enter, and this guy has gone into a queue. So just putting them in brackets meant that that value was not getting returned. So that was the error. What was the error? Let me repeat it again, because this is again a common error. Now this meant this value was not getting returned. We just wanted a simple return. So the moment I removed it, the reduced value has gotten returned. So now they are getting added to queue. So Anna and Kathy are now in the queue. If I look at the queue has Anna first and Kathy. Now if I exit Steve, we can see that Steve has changed to enter and Anna has entered the queue and only Kathy is in the queue. Now if Mary exits, we can see this is working fine. Let's try and enter Meg. Meg goes to queue. Bob goes to queue. So this part is working fine. Now two parts are remaining. One, we want to show the status on top, which is how many people are inside and how many are in the queue. So let's do that. So here we can say h4 inside is equal to, we defined that function, get inside count. So we will just use that. This dot get inside count q is equal to this dot. So let's just destructure q here. So q dot length. So we will be able to show that. Next, what do we want to show? We also want to show the queue. So below this, we can show the queue. We can say q dot map, and we're just showing it as a list. So let me just put it in a UL. Q dot map, say q1 goes to, and what do we want to show in a li? We will show q1 dot name. So we should be able to see the queue also. Let's go ahead and check it. So here we can see inside is 0, q is 0. Let's enter, say Tim. So inside is 1, q is again 0. Anna has entered. Let's put Kathy. So Kathy has gotten in queue. We should have just added a queue here. So h4 q. So Mary is in the queue. We can see the queue. Now if we start exiting, and this seems to be perfectly fine. So if we just recap it, we created two components. So one was the visitor system, which was managing all of it, which maintained the state. and the other was visitor, which was rendering each visitor. So the rendering logic of a visitor was put in this component visitor, and everything was passed to it using props. So using props, we passed the visitor and the functions on enter and on exit, which this used. So what we have learned in this video is the concept of props and how we use props to define multiple components and use them, and then how we use lifting the state up, the concept of lifting the state up, and why is it widely used. You should check out the description also. So there are a couple of more exercises and their videos which have been discussed in detail in the video.